Let's talk about paint manufacturing and how it relates to productivity. As a site coordinator and operations manager for a paint maker, I had to ensure we produced wood stains and paints quickly for our customers. 3 ways we increased productivity were by installing better capital equipment, more disciplined production scheduling, and avoiding waste. For any large manufacturer, to improve productivity, capital investment is required in machinery and equipment to increase economies of scale. So, careful financial evaluation calculations are needed to determine whether the additional investment will pay for itself and increase profitability. In the paint factory, we used robotics to automate palletizing. That is, increase the speed of packing the product for shipment. We installed new filling lines that could fill more cans of paint per minute. Apart from capital equipment, effective systems are also used to improve productivity. With production scheduling, the first thing to consider is the workflow, so we scheduled our production runs to maximise output. In a paint factory, different paints are made in a certain order, because if you don't, you increase waste and take longer to change over from one product batch to the next. Colours are tinted, so you can't start with a darker paint and then try to move to a lighter paint. Therefore, scheduling is critical, and finding the most efficient path from incoming sales orders through to delivery trucks leaving the factory means you can increase your output for the week. Avoiding waste is an important way to improve productivity, and this happens by avoiding mistakes. Making paint is a process involving very low production tolerances. Raw materials such as pigments are made from naturally occurring products, and therefore one bag of raw materials is often slightly different to the next. So a level of judgment was required when preparing each batch. If you add too much of one pigment, you are in trouble. Colour checking had to be done by the eye, not by equipment. So you have a single point dependency, and if that person is not careful or capable, expensive mistakes occur. If several thousand litres of wood stain don't meet the colour specification, then it goes into rework or has to be disposed of. You need quality assurance as a mechanism to prevent waste and errors as early as possible. Always remember, efficiency or productivity is not the same as effectiveness. Making a lot of paint with the least amount of inputs may be productive, but it is only effective if it is the paint the customer actually wants. One solution we followed here to avoid wasted output was to use a small batch system linked to the just-in-time manufacturing framework, which may appear less productive but enabled us to meet our customer deliveries in a very efficient manner and avoid overproduction. To recap, productivity is equal to outputs as a ratio of the inputs. In day-to-day language, this means we should be making more with less. To improve productivity, we need to have a clear understanding about all the areas of the business, how they interlink, and what capital equipment and processes are needed to work more efficiently. And don't forget, being efficient is not the same as being effective.